Ah, the big citation. Now, this one differs from the regular CJ4 Cessna, or I should say Textron now, in that this is a much longer range airplane. Taking a look at this thing real quickly, just looking at our runway, it is just a lot of airplane for the purposes, of business class transportation. Taking a look around, it is definitely a very modern design. We finally added a couple buttons up at the tippy top there. We've got kind of a slick little trick here. Of course, does it work? What happens when we push the button? Oh, no heads-up display. What a bummer. Taking a look down, of course, we have the classic G1000 with all the bells and whistles. We're sitting down here. This is, of course, we're in Abu Dhabi. This is in the UAE. We're going to be doing a really, really short hop up basically into Dubai to kind of take a look around some of the big landmarks and everything along those lines. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Just enough power to kind of get it ripping, release the parking brake, and we are off. Ooh, we're a little hot on the intake engine turbine temperature. I'm going to reduce that so we don't get ourselves a big nasty fire. Ooh, this thing accelerates quickly. There we go. Much better. Alright, it's more than enough. Give it a tug. Ooh, wants to resettle. Gear up. Flaps up. And we are on our way. Ooh, that's got a lot more pickup than I expected to. This particular aircraft is powered by a couple of Honeywell. It's HTF 7700s, in case you're curious. Man, look at the speed on this thing. We could basically have taken this thing vertical if we wanted to. We'll put it a little bit through its paces here. Oh yeah, that's got some performance behind it. Looks good, looks good. Man, you'd never do this in a plane like this. But hey, it's experimentation. We want to see what it can do. Sounds pretty good. Go ahead, level off. We're going way past 250 at this altitude, but that's okay. Gonna need a lot of trim. Now, usually on a Cessna, when you put trim, it makes this little doo-doo-doo-doo noise, just to kind of let you know that you're doing the electric trim. But that works pretty well, too. That looks pretty good. About a 10-degree climb. Unbelievable performance in this jet. This is the closest thing you're going to get to a jet as far as fighter performance in the base version, at least at this point. Flight director, we'll flip on nav real quickly. Should probably select an altitude. Go up to probably, I think, like 10 grand or so or something like that. And we should probably go a little higher than that. I hate how it bypasses. That's always been a flight simulator thing. Looks good. Switch to flick mode. Of course, they didn't define a speed when I did that, so it's going to give us our current speed, which is all right. A little more power. I'm just going to zoom in just a little bit here, make sure everything looks the way I expect it to be. It looks pretty good. We're about 90% power. Seems like we missed our capture here, so we're actually going to have to manually come back. That's all right, though. Again, I want to try out the autopilot. You're going to spend quite a bit of time of autopilot in an aircraft like this. Just a little bit more power. Yeah, they're making fun of us on the ground again. No big deal. Alright, looking pretty good. Interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and bring ourselves back down. Any sharp-eyed person would point out the fact that the reason it did not work was on account of the fact that I never actually turned the autopilot on. Sit back just a teeny tiny bit so it's a little bit easier to see. Interesting. That's pretty good flying for the fact that it wasn't actually on the autopilot mode. Gotta love it when that happens. It's a little bit better. We're a little too high here, but again, we want to take a pretty good look. Look at that beautiful, beautiful view. A little bit of downward trim there. Feels a little bit better. Probably back the throttle down. Interesting that the aircraft chooses to dive like that. Interesting. Cool. All right, we'll just kind of continue on our flight. All right, so while we're here, we might as well play with some of the buttons and everything like that. This is nice that you get the old school little touch screen. Okay, that's neat. That's neat. Go to the back. Okay, so it's like touching your finger. Oh, that's so cool. Have the weather display. Okay, so we have different modes for that. Go back to map settings. Oh, I like how that works. Let's give it a little bit of thrust again. I just like the fact I can quickly glance and see where I am without looking out the window. That's a really, really nice touch. All right, we have procedures, departure. Oh, good. So we do have departures for this one. Arrival. Okay, excellent. We'd select our approach here if we wanted to. Oh, I like that. We'll do, let's see, it looks pretty good. Oh, good. So we have all of our ILS approaches pre-selected. We can say load and activate. Go back, we'll go home. And what that should do is that should actually cause this aircraft to come swinging around. Now, we should be able to actually slave the approach already, even though we're this far away from our destination. You know, that's just another really, really nice kind of quirk of these old systems, or these new systems, I should say. That's slick. Hey, this is really, really cool. We can do some really nice things with that. Boop, and it's gone. Hey, now I'm flying an Airbus. I like how they have all the... Okay, that's nice. That's really nice. Of course, what's the point of us spending the entire time looking heads down if we can't enjoy, you know, beautiful UAE here, especially when we get up to Dubai. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. You could see that. All right, swinging over here. Power's looking pretty good. Everything's looking all set on that regard. There's one thing I wish I could change. I got to see if I can find it. Again, I'm just sort of experimenting on my own. There's no map settings button. Or if there is a map settings button, I don't see it right away. That's all right, though. So we can change the range. Okay, that makes sense. We got a little thing to adjust the individual knob. Okay, so that's for communications. That's a really cool system. I've never experimented with it. Oh, look at how nice that is. Ooh, that is nice. That is really, really, really nice. I'm just taking a look around, seeing what other fun buttons we have here. So we can change some of these modes real quickly here. That looks pretty good. I like how they have a button for direct, literally right in front of you. You can also adjust the map. Oh, look at that. That's, again, that's pretty impressive. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. All right, let's go ahead and get ourselves ready for our descent altitude here. About 2,500 should be plenty. Again, I don't have the actual approach in front of me, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. Kill the throttle. The nose should start coming down any moment. And down we go. Look at it. It's just like having a radar screen. That's neat. That's a little steep. A little steep. Little steep. Yeah, there's something up with the autopilot, and maybe I'm just being extremely rough with it, but I don't remember being quite that aggressive. All right, looks pretty good, looks pretty good. A lot of times when you activate approaches, it'll actually automatically load in the correct frequency for the navigation radio, which is really, really cool. There's your two comms, there's your standby. That's looking pretty good. Audio and radio. Nav 1 is on 11050. Okay, that's cool. Nice. Actually, they both set them to 11050, which is super duper handy. I like that. I like that a lot. So I've already activated the approach, so I'm not even going to bother. We'll have to go ahead and play with some of the other features here as far as like suspending the approaches and stuff like that if we wanted to play with it too much. Let's go ahead and zoom out just a little bit. Oh, neat to give you all the different things. And look at that. It takes us right around the corner just like it's supposed to. That is pretty slick. I gotta say, that is really, really cool how well that works. Kind of take a look around. I like how they're all labeled like that. It's nice. Look up and see if there's anything good. Probably never shut any of this stuff off. We don't need that one, for example. Oh, no. It's such a bummer this doesn't work. Bummer. That heads-up display would have made this so much cooler. But we get a really, really nice look here. Of course, you have Burj Khalifa and all those other kind of different things. And I was kind of really hoping that we could get a good look at them. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to switch modes here so that we can take a quick look and see if we get lucky here. There it goes. Yeah, it's there. There's the Burj Khalifa. Nice. Okay, that's kind of what I was hoping for so far. Give it a little bit of thrust here. We're about to level off in just a minute. And then it's going to come swinging us around the outside, and then I'm pretty much good for landing. I think this is a pretty good simulation of everything that I would expect in this aircraft. I do the prior approach, but again, kind of want to save time. Got a couple more aircraft that I got to finish up, and I'll have flown them all in one day, which is a bit of an achievement at the same time. It really doesn't do these aircraft justice, and I'll be one to say that directly. Let me set up a little bit higher to see if I can get a better look. Zoom! There it is! And then, of course, you got that famous landmark as well, which is awesome. And there's a cruise ship. Actually, there's a few cruise ships. The big thing is I would expect to see tankers. You know, just taking a quick peek around, I expect tankers pretty much all along here. Just pretty much, I bet you that's one. Nope, that is a little teeny tiny one of those little islands there. Bummer. All right, hopefully you found this interesting. This is definitely a solid aircraft. I'd probably fly this one over the other Cessna just because it's just a little bit more airplane, and I think that's kind of handy in that regard. Enjoy.